What's up? It's the JeniusBiker, and today I wanted to show you guys what I have in my portable toolbox. This is a little box that I take with me in my van or my truck when I need to do like a mobile service, or like right now I'm in my storage working on the bike. It's easy for me to throw this in the back of the truck or the van, bring this with me to work on, most of the metric stuff. Harley, obviously, you need some Imperial tools, which I can easily throw in as well. I tried to set this up so far, so this is pretty much everything I use, 80-90% of the time. It's nothing fancy in here, it's just a portable toolbox, but it's got everything we need. You see at the top here, put some magnets from Harbor Freight. They come in a long strip. I broke the strip up, put some duct tape over them, and I use those to hold the wrenches. This can just as easily hold, Imperial wrenches, but I'm usually working on metric, so I got my metric wrenches up there. This top drawer here can always have some WD-40, a little bit of electrical tape. That keeps these things from rattling around when I'm driving. And then this, the top secret Bugaboo silicone spray. This comes in handy for a bunch of different things. It's just a nice silicone lubricant. Next, I got this Gorilla Grip Allen. This is something, just quick pull it out and wrench. Take off some Allens, whatever you got to do. Right here, you see I got another magnet taped in here that keeps this Allen from rattling around. Holds my little air pressure gauge. It's always good to have a tire pressure gauge. This is just a little digital one. Nothing fancy. And then my screwdriver. You'll find you really don't need them big fancy sets of screwdrivers. This here is a 4-in-1. I think it might have been a couple bucks at Harbor Freight. But you see, it's got the big flat head, and I can easily flip this around. And it's got the big Phillips, and I can easily flip this whole thing around. And then I got the small Phillips, and then I got the small flathead. So, 4 screwdrivers in one comes in handy. I'm doing this one-handed. I'm trying to hold the camera and show you all what I'm doing. But even one-handed, you see, it's not too difficult to handle. And this will do, like I said, 80-90% of what you need done from a screwdriver. And that doesn't rattle around because of the magnet. Of course, you got to have some zip ties. Keep a little bundle of zip ties. This thing is super handy. Again, a couple bucks at Harbor Freight. This is just one of them telescoping magnets. You drop a little screw in your engine compartment or something, you can stick this in there, fish it out. Saves you a lot of taking stuff apart just to get to something you dropped inside. This also doubles as my keeper to keep all these little guys from jumping around. Got your Loctite, of course. Got a little samurai sword. Comes in handy for lots of uses. This red enamel paint is something I use after I torque something down, like you see it here on my Indian. I just mark it with the red paint. I also use it sometimes with the oil filter. Write the date that I changed the oil filter. It's a little plastic razor blade. This is good for removing decals or even gaskets. That thing's super handy. Obviously, a Sharpie, self-explanatory. This one's from the One Moto show last year. I highly suggest you check that show out if you haven't already. It's coming up, I think, at the end of April. And then this is a handy little thing to have. This is just a little thread chaser, basically. It's got a bunch of different pitches in there, and these swing out and let you chase the threads. Clean the threads up. That saved me quite a few times when I have a bike with some messed up threads. Instead of having to have a whole tap and die set, that thing comes in handy. And again, this little magnet thing keeps everything in place so it doesn't jump around. Next up, I got a pair of gloves. Obviously, you don't want to get your hands too dirty. Duct tape, you know, that stuff always works in a pinch. These I find surprisingly I use a lot. Between the Harley and the metric bikes, this is just a cheap Dura Blast set from one of the model parts stores. But it came on this nice little clip, so even though I threw a little Craftsman on here, this little clip thing's handy to keep them together. Got an oil rag. These are good to have, wiping up oily messes. This right here is a revelation. This is brand new from Harbor Freight. It's probably one of the most expensive things I've ever bought from Harbor Freight. It was 40 bucks. But look at this thing. I've been using this thing a lot since I put it in. This has all these bits, which are super handy. It has metric and imperial in the Allens. Has all the screwdrivers again. So if your 4-in-1 doesn't work, I always got this as a backup. All these other bits. And then this little ratchet that comes with it's amazing. One button you can swivel to get in tight spaces. I just used it on these bolts in here because they're kind of at a funky angle with the windscreen. You see, I can get that in there. So this thing's amazing with the swivel. Obviously, it's got a little thumb thing. It's even got a little white mark so you can see exactly how far you're turning. See that? On top of that, it's got this, which not only functions as an extension, you can put your bits in there. You can even use this as your socket wrench for your 1/4 inch. All you gotta do is put this little adapter in here, and bam, you got a 1/4 inch ratchet. And then on top of all that, you can take this extension out, stick it in the back of the ratchet, and now you can put a little bit more torque on something. Again, this thing is just hands down one of the coolest little kits I bought. I have something similar in the Wera that I carry around in my vehicle. It actually has sockets. This one doesn't have sockets. But that thing was probably at least twice as much as this. And I don't need the sockets because I have 1/4 inch sockets here. Again, these are held in with 2 magnets. I got 3/8 and 1/4 inch. And these just pop out and go to the workspace, and then you just pop them back in. And as far as ratchets go, I just picked this up from Harbor Freight too. This is something I wanted for a long time. This has 1/4 inch on one side, 3/8 on the other. Not only that, but for those really hard to loosen ones, it's got the extension. You can extend this out to get more leverage without taking up more space in the toolbox, which is key in a portable toolbox like this. Look at that, that's pretty cool. I also picked up one of these from Harbor Freight. This little tray is pretty handy. You can set it in your workspace. Holds all your little fasteners plus all your tools. And then you can just bring this back over to your toolbox and then take all your tools out and put them away. Really handy. So, you know, 80-90% of your stuff can be done with that there. But I've also got tucked in here a few holes that I drilled out in the corner here, and those are for these picks. Again, Harbor Freight special. You know how handy these are, these little picks. I got a whole set of the picks, and they're just tucked away over there in the corner for whenever I need it. Got the straight one here, so that's nice and neat, tucked away. Also tucked away over here deep in the corner, something I don't use as much, but it comes in super handy. This is a swivel. See how it's got the swivel tip? And this little thing here will get you out of a lot of tough jams when you're just can't get the socket on there. That little swivel will help you get in there. Okay, so that covers the top part. That's like the mostly used. Here's kind of the secondary drawer with pliers, nothing fancy, Craftsman, USA made Craftsman. wire snips, just a Husky open end wrench, spring puller. This thing's super handy. The penny cutters. I don't know if you remember seeing that commercial on TV. And lock ring pliers. Again, this covers most of what I work on, just with these two sections here. The next drawer is what I kind of call my flex space. So as you can see, I got a little USB thing here to charge my phone. It's also a work light. It's pretty bright. That comes in handy. Got my safety glasses. But I also throw in here, you know, depending on what I need to do. If I'm going to change the chain, I'll bring my chain breaker tool. I'll bring my chain adjustment guide, you know, make sure it chain's straight. I'll bring, you know, whatever tools I need for the job. It's also good for putting those little boxes of fasteners. If you need to bring fasteners with you. Imperial tools. I use this as my flex space depending on the job. So that's good to have. And then the last drawer, I just have some miscellaneous stuff. Another little magnetic parts catch right there for when you're taking stuff apart. Trusty hammer. Can't go wrong with the American hickory. This thing, the ball peen. The cleaner, you probably heard me mention this on a bunch of my other videos. This Novus cleans everything so well. Little microfiber rag. Keep a shop towel in here. You know, if I'm on the go, I might not have a roll. I usually buy a big package of these from Costco and keep a roll everywhere, but you never know, I might not have it. And then this bag here, I got red Scotch Brite. I got 3 types of brushes. Again, cheap Harbor Freight brushes, probably $2. Nylon, wire, brass brush. And then a couple different grits of sandpaper. You know, just little things that come in handy. So that right there is my toolbox, portable toolbox. If you guys want to see more about the tools I use, I could take you on a toolbox tour, my one at the shop. Obviously, I'm using tools all the time, so I got tools all over the place. But this is my pretty well used portable box. Again, it's nothing fancy. There ain't no snap-on, ain't no fancy stuff in here. It's just real basic and gets the job done.